My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden. Here is where I empower women to reclaim their authentic power, embrace their inner wisdom, and transform life's most challenges. Transitions into profound opportunities for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Please subscribe to the newsletter at Elizabeth Magical Garden, as well as check out my podcast at Elizabeth Magical Garden. Goes live every single Thursday.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are speaking about something that is so special. But before I start, I want to welcome you to the podcast and let you know that we have some things coming up. So be sure to subscribe if you're listening from the YouTube channel at Elizabeth Magical Garden Podcast, as well as check out all the links down below. Guys, welcome back. I pray that everybody is well, and I pray that everybody is in great spirits. This is a course that I've been working on diligently. I've been mentioning it throughout the episodes. I've been giving you little sneak peeks unbeknownst to you, but today we're going to dive deep. We're going to start a series that I've been working on in terms of Crone energy. So get your tea, get your water, get whatever beverages that you see fit, and buckle in. So what is Crone energy? Crone energy archetypes represents the postpartum woman who has moved beyond fertility and social expectations of femininity. She is the wise woman, the healer, the truth teller, who no longer seeks approval or validation from others. Crone energy is deeply connected to dark feminine power. Now, I want to stop here. We have come across so many fairy tales that represented this particular archetype. Hansel and Gretel, the witch that threw them into the pot, the Wicked Witch of the West, and so forth. Now, I believe that this particular energy has always been mentioned throughout the diaspora of time, because think about it. When you are no longer fertile, all of a sudden you're just no good. You're wasted goods. You're no longer fit for society. You're no longer at a space where you can be revered, especially in the Western Hemisphere, because what I've noticed throughout my studies is other countries, other religions, they revere, they know the special energy, they know the power of the elderly. They make it a point to prepare. There's even certain countries, I believe in China, they take care of their elderly. They bring them in, especially when their wives have children. They'll fly their mother up, okay? They'll fly the mother up to be with the new mother, because they understand that she holds within her the knowledge, the power that not only the mother needs, but the newborn baby needs. When I remember when I was a young mother, I had my son at 18. When I became a mother, my mother was so kind. She was young because I was 18. I believe she just turned 40 at the time. And she took her vacation time to sit and pour into me, to make sure I knew all the nuances of being a mother to the best of her ability. We were knocking around, and I remember just absorbing, taking everything in, because think about it, we want to make sure, mothers want to, your prime understanding in this world once you become a mother is the survival of your child. The survival of a child is the number one thing a mother thinks about, because listen, fathers, they play a crucial part, but let's just be honest. The mother is the protector. The mother has been protecting this life force since it's been introduced within her womb. Right? And this is why you hear the old saying, mother's baby, father's maybe, because mothers normally doesn't have a choice. A mother will lay down her life for her child. And this is something that a female within her womb, the power of a woman, holds dear. We don't know anything else. Think about it. All your life as a female, all you knew was nurture, love, birth. And doing this, reliving these archetypes over and over again, because first you have the maiden, when you become a lady, you get your menstrual cycle, and then when you become a mother, right? And then you're in a mother stage, and then through that process of rearing the children, growing into your femininity, growing into a woman, you find yourself over time in Crone energy. Be sure to sign up to my email list so you'll be privy when I have offers, because I am dedicated to this particular topic. Because when I myself entered into Crone energy, when I myself entered menopause, when I myself came into this position, there were no one ushering me in. It's like it was a horrific event that was awaiting for me, and everybody just turned their heads. I could just take a few minutes of your time to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to tune in every single week and listen and view these episodes. Number 2, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We would love to have you be part of this community as well. Let's get back into the episode. I asked, and it was nothing. No one had any answers for me. And I truly believe it's because menopause shows up for women in so many different ways. And I was thrust into the dark night of the soul. I was thrust into, while doing that, having to relearn every single thing, because everything I knew went out the window, guys. Everything. I am always speaking about my arsenal. I'm always speaking about having tools in my arsenal, and to be in a position where nothing worked, I just was like, I just felt like I was like just in a road somewhere, lost. And what made, to add insult to injury, some of the things that I still wanted to hold on to, some of the things that I loved that were shiny and I wasn't ready to let go of, I had to, because it was imperative in order for me to heal and lighten the load. Historically, let's get into that. In ancient cultures, crones were revered as healers, midwives, herbalists, and spiritual advisors. They held positions of respect and authority in their communities. However, during the witch trials and throughout history, older women's powers were demised and suppressed. Now, I just went into letting you know how different cultures revered and honored women that entered Crone energy. And Crone energy is just so powerful. And it wasn't until I came out on the other end. It wasn't until I did a lot of healing within myself. And luckily for me, I was already on my healing journey. Listen, guys, I've been doing this over 2 decades. I had helped so many women over the course of the years. I remember when I was working a physical job, there were so many women that would share their heartfelt positions in terms of things that they were going through, whether it was relationships or just internal. And I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to work with these women, to listen to these women, and even throughout, I truly believe that I was put here to usher women. I've been told in so many ways, for men as well, that I should have been in a coaching position, something that I always knew that I was doing. But you know, the old saying goes, you have to make sure your cup is full before you can help somebody else. And I've always been in a crossroad, or at least I always felt like I was between lives. My mom would always tell me that you were born mature. And this was a good and bad thing, because it wasn't until I did my inner work that I realized that I, for whatever reason, found myself in a people-pleasing road. And this is something that a lot of people that are natural, good listeners, that are able to help and heal the community, you'll find yourself, especially if this is something that has already been within your spirit from a child, you'll find because you have empathy, you'll find yourself in a position where you're always helping others without filling your cup, so to speak. And this can show up in anxiety, something that I did disclose with you guys that I've been unfortunately dealing with that. I'm happy to say that it's been years in the making, and through healing work, therapy, physical work, because moving your body as well as doing the inner work is important, right? Because one does not work without the other. Where the mind goes, the body follows, right? As we come into these bodies, we are already the people that we were meant to be. There's so many lives that has been lived. I believe in reincarnation. I do not believe that God, the creator, would create a spirit to just say, okay, one time and done. Are you kidding me? So we know that during the course of history, women in different cultures have been healers, wise women, midwives. They didn't have doctors. They didn't have, a hospital that they would go to say, okay, now, this facility where women would have these babies. No, they would go in the village, deep in the village, and they would go and summons somebody to go get the midwives to usher this baby come into the world, because these women have been in this way for a very, very long time. And not every woman is always going to be, how can I say, show up in a healing spiritual way. And what do I mean about that? Because women go through menopause. I truly believe that there are a lot of women that have this archetype within them. Unfortunately, because of society, and this is why mental health is so crucial, because of society and the things that they say about getting older and how it's just not not the biz, right? You see the celebrities going, even people nowadays, they're just going under the knife, because why? Getting older is just not attractive. It's just not something that anyone really wants to do. People want to live forever. But I'm here to tell you that the true beauty, I believe, comes in wisdom. When you allow yourself to come from a place of healing, when you allow yourself to be immersed and have a sense of willingness to age and gift yourself the ability of being happy. And I want to be clear, I am not saying that you just become this shrivel up whatever and you just like let caution to the wind. There are beautiful women that are in their 70s and their 80s and beyond, and they look fabulous. Wrinkles and all, makeup done, hair done. So it's not, if anything, one would say you are even more sexy. I personally have never felt, I can't remember the last time I felt this good in my body. And this is not something that just came. I work at it, guys. I am moving my body. I am going to the gym. I am sweating my tushy off. I am putting in the work. I do need to drink more water, but that's a whole nother thing. I am doing my best to show up for myself and allow myself to go through this process in the best way possible, right? Because I feel, number one, once you accept yourself for who you are, I truly believe that there is a love making, so to speak, that happens. And what comes from that is a light that shines over your skin. My grandmother, God bless her spirit, she graced this world with her presence up until her 95th birthday. Matter of fact, I believe she passed away shy from her 96. So she was 95 when she passed. And when we went to her wake, I remember looking at her and she just looked like an angel. She had no wrinkles. I'm talking about 95. No wrinkles whatsoever. Her skin, I remember just staring and seeing and just witnessing how smooth her skin was. Like it just was uncanny. And I really believe that comes from a place of peace, because when you allow yourself to love on yourself, when you allow yourself to show up in such a way, no matter what society says you should be looking like, you bring the potential for others to not only look up to you, but you also pave the way. And to go back to what I was saying when I first started menopause, because so many people are no longer, how can I say, granny like, you know what I mean? And yes, granny like. It used to be a time where you could go to grandma's house, and shout out to the people that still have that. I no longer have that particular that anymore, but I did have it for a very long time. I'm the eldest out of the grandchildren, so I had my grandmother for the longest, I'm very happy to say. And what I can say is, moving fast forward, I don't, even for myself, I am not the same way that my mother was when she turned 40. 40 looked totally different. 50 looks totally different. People are now living longer. People are now much more healthier because of education. We have the internet. You can Google like literally anything. People now are more resilient and powerful, but we can't take away that there's only one way to leave this earth, right? But there's something that happens regardless of what you look like on the outside. There is something happening within a woman's body when she turns 50, when she turns 60, when she turns 70 and beyond. There's something that happens when you are now in a state of Crone energy. you become more resilient. Your power, your energy, your womb is a space of magic. Because what you hold within yourself, you may not be able to we see people having kids. That's a whole nother episode, right? You may not be in a stage of boring children, right? Giving birth anymore. But it doesn't take away what the womb encompasses. This is dark energy. When you close your eyes and you say your prayers, this is where you go and meet God, right? To whomever you're praying to, okay? Whatever your belief system. When you close your eyes and you meditate, you are in the dark. This is where you manifest. This is where you grow. This is where you create. Your womb encompasses all those things and even more. Right? This is why I believe now a lot of women, I didn't do it, but I believe there are some practices where now you can, as soon as once you have the baby, you can like eat your own placenta. That's a whole thing because of all the good stuff and all the cells that's in the body. This is a real thing. And science is still, to this day, learning the human body and how it works in the cells. This is something that I truly believe is going to continue happening as long as there's people on this earth, because there is no one-stop shop. We are constantly evolving, guys. So why is it that women are not respected when it comes to Crone energy? And one of the things that I believe is because of ignorance. It's fear and ignorance, fear of death, fear of the unknown, the ego looking down on frailty. But what people don't understand, right? And this is something that I'm even starting to understand within myself. I'm still learning, guys. Your body is changing. Yes, that is a fact, right? But your mind, something happens. God has grace. When he created these bodies, he knew that there's going to be a time where we would start to get older. So what he did, he made it to where something else gets stronger. Our senses, our ability to be wise beyond time, our ability to tap in to different realms, because guess what? You have lived many, many lives. It's safe to say. You don't get to this big age and not learn something, not take something along with you. You don't get to this point of your life and not become a powerful force to be dealt with. So, how do we make this energy work for us? What can we do? What are some of the practices that we can do in order to reclaim our power, in order for us to reclaim our position in this world? Well, one of the ways that we can reclaim our power is by no longer being bound by the beauty standards of society. Listen, I stopped coloring my hair. It's going to be about a year ago. I know it's been so long. I remember the first time I started speaking about it, it was maybe like 2 months in, and now it's about to be a year. First of all, I realized that I'm not as gray as I thought I was. My gray is like a skunk. It's in the middle behind my hairline, which is really funny. I now have about, I would say, a full maybe 2 inches of gray in the middle of my hair. I still haven't colored my hair. I don't believe I will be coloring it for so many different reasons. Number one, health reasons. I didn't like the way my scalp felt when the last time I did color my hair. It felt so sensitive. It actually felt like a relaxer, and I haven't relaxed my hair in so many years. So that was interesting. And also, I noticed that complexion wise, me putting such a dark color on my hair, it just was giving an adverse effect to me. I didn't like how I felt every 5 minutes when I would see a little bit of gray and then all the stark black. It was putting me in a position where I was loathing myself. Like, every time I would see a little bit of gray, I would say these things like, oh my God, I got to color my hair. It looks disgusting. Why am I loathing on myself? Why am I going against nature? Why am I so why I was saying to myself, why am I so hard on myself for being alive? This is part of the aging process. So now I no longer color my hair. I'm still not opposed to it, guys. I'm still not opposed to it, but it's been a year. It's going to be a year. So we'll see. But what it did force me to do is play with what I got. It actually caused me to be, I would say, more adventurous. It put me in a position where I had to doll up other things. You know what I mean? I do put color in my hair, but not color in my hair. I wear extensions. I've been back to the weaves, the wigs, because I did mention that in one of previous episodes where I get bored. I'm a Gemini. I get bored. So I incorporate my gray into my hairstyles. If I'm braiding, which I have braids in my hair right now, my roots are gray. What am I going to do? I'm going to color it just to put braids in. That doesn't make any sense. The health of my hair is extremely important to me. So yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind putting a nice color. Right now I have the ginger been my thing. That's been my jam. And it makes me, I get nostalgic because it reminds me of my grandmother. My grandmother was a natural ginger, believe it or not. Her natural hair, her skin, she was just a carrot, right? And when I put this color in my hair, instantly I just felt so warm, and it just reminds me of my grandmother. So that's one of my go-tos between the ginger and the black. So my grays does show, and I do not feel any type of way. I feel sexy. I feel hot. You know what? It's so funny. People think it's fake, which is weird and I've been asked like, oh, like, did you put that in your hair? I'm like, you don't see the gray in my hair? And you know what? People don't notice the way you think they do. People don't care, right? So no longer caring about what society has to say about aging. Yes, okay, you have crow's feet. Yeah, there's lotion. I am a lotion and potion person. I do have my nighttime routine going on, and it's fierce. I do believe in taking care of your skin, hydrating your skin, and doing the things, right? But I'm not going to beat up on myself for how God created me, the natural aging process. I'm not gonna loathe on myself for that. So loving on yourself, being proud of who you are, being proud of your age. You worked hard. Listen, there's somebody right now that didn't get to be the very age that you are now. So this is a gift, right? Number 2, acclaiming your authentic self. Having the courage to speak your truth. This is something that I definitely hold near and dear to me. I did mention about the people pleasing. I am a recovering people pleaser. And when you get to a certain age, you are no longer, okay? I would think that getting to this big, beautiful age, 50, 60, 70, 80, and beyond, you have the right to speak up. You have the right to exercise your voice, right? For years and even centuries, even women have been told to be seen and not heard. This is a poison that has been passed down to women through centuries upon centuries, to the point where now it's in our DNA. And I'm here to tell you, you can reclaim your voice. And one of the things that I believe that helps with you speaking up, help with you being able to express yourself, is breath work. I do this thing called box breathing. You can look it up, where I inhale deeply and then I inhale another breath within the breath, and I hold for 4, and then I let go. And as I'm breathing out, I breathe out for the 4 counts. So it's inhale, hold for 4, let out, and 4 counts. And you can look this up. And what this does, it heals not only your vocal, but it also helps the nervous system. And I truly believe one of the reasons why women tend to deal with more depression, anxiety, and this is a scientific fact. It's a known fact. It may not be a known fact to you, but it is scientific that women tend to deal with depression and anxiety a bit more than men. It is definitely not only hormonal, but it's the way our nervous system tend to be. And I also believe one of the key factors to that, unfortunately, is not being able to be your true authentic self when you are faking. Okay. And think about it. We're faking it all the time. We're putting on the makeup. We're changing the look. We're doing that. We're doing this. We're doing that. This is a good thing, but it also can work against you if you're not doing the inner work. If you're not happy with yourself. I remember I had this weave and it was like so cute, and then I took it down. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh girl, you so cute. Okay, this is something that is refreshing to me, because it was a time where I would just be like, oh my God, like almost like go into hiding, guys, because my hair is not done. And if you know, girls, when your hair is not done, it's like, no one looks at me, right? But I was just like, okay. And I would say things like, girl, you cute. Look at you. Look at your Craig. You're fantastic. Look how gorgeous you are. I would speak life into myself. I would look into my eyes and speak life into myself. And this is something that did not come easy. I would avoid, believe it or not, I would avoid the mirror. I would avoid looking at myself. I, for a very long time in my life, did not feel comfortable staring into my own eyes, guys. Right? So I know how it feels to not love on yourself the way you should. And it's okay. It's not your fault. Right? It's not your fault, because this has been passed down, like I said, through centuries. We are still digging ourselves out. It wasn't long ago that we had the right to even vote, right? So women to this day are not able to make as much as men, which is sad, because isn't this the 20th century? Okay. Last but not least, mentorship. Now, this is a topic that is going to have a course of its own, because women naturally gather together. I have been in so many situations where I was in a waiting room, or I was waiting to do something, or I was around something, and the women in front of me or the women behind me, or both, we would just start talking, divulging our personal lives to each other, strangers, right? Finding a common ground, and then that's it. You never see them again. I think this just what women do. We have the ability to speak and share and commune with one another and take care of one another. But somewhere along the line, especially nowadays, and I see with the young girls, people are more now putting people down, tearing each other apart. And I just feel that if we can come together as a community, if women could just love on one another much more, it would stop in its tracks the disrespect that women are enduring to this day. I truly believe that. Because it's too many open gates. It's too many open holes. If you see a wolf by itself, guess what? It's going to be attacked. There's a saying, and it is really true. A lone wolf does not make it through the winter. When you see a pack of wolves, right? Usually they have the weakest in the front, and then you have the strongest one in the back, right? So you usually have maybe like the kids in the front, and then you have the elderly wolves in the middle, and then you'll have the strongest one in the back. And if you see only one in the back, that's the chief, okay? That's the one. Don't get it twisted. Don't try to roll up on that one and thinking you got it made. The jokes is on you. And I just feel like if we can come and start that type of analogy within ourselves and start communing with one another and not looking at each other as a threat, we would be able to benefit from getting into these different aspects within our lives. We would be able to benefit from going in a rite of passage, having somebody usher you in. Like I mentioned earlier, when I started going through menopause, I had absolutely no one, right? No one had any answers, at least not the answers that I was looking for. And I just feel like if it was more of us being more comfortable of being vulnerable and not tearing each other down and looking at this one and I'm better than you. Listen, it's only one door to walk out of this life. One door, guys, right? If we can cheer and mentor, and I feel like this is what men have over women. This is my personal opinion, because I've been observing how men react to one another. I know they have their thing, but usually like they're big and they're high-fiving each other. They're, cheering each other on, and you just don't see it as much. I'm not saying at all, but you don't see it as much as you do when you see men do it. It's just a camaraderie that men have that I just feel like if women had more of a lot of the things that we silently endure, just wouldn't be. So finding a community to be around. Now, some people, the beauty of being online, you could start your own forum. You could join a forum. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, my vlog channel at Elizabeth Magical Garden. I'm always posting on there. I'm always sharing the behind the scenes, sharing my thought process and so forth, because it started as a diary of me and you could go into you could literally see the transformation of me posting and the different looks and all the different things that I've been sharing over the years. But what happened through that process, I evolved into the person that I am now, and I am grateful for the community that I have on that platform that was so kind to and still do and follow me to this day. So be sure to check that out, and I would love for you to be part of that community as well. This is the end of this course. I do look forward to hearing from you guys, and I pray that you got something out of this particular episode, because my mission is to empower, is to usher you guys into this new dimension that we call Crone energy, midlife. Guys, stay blessed, stay in peace, and stay empowered. Peace. Hey guys, leave a comment, a review, preferably 5 stars. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram because what is popping over there? And also check out my YouTube channel to stay connected and see your girl's lovely face. Guys, I love you so much. Keep on pushing, and I'll definitely speak to you soon. Be blessed.